Hello everybody, and a warm welcome to this week's South African Business Council Expo update. We're only 6 weeks away, so it's an exciting time as we really apply the final few tweaks for our Expo launch. Also, during this time, we had the privilege to really meet with one of the most influential and most impactful CEOs in the Middle East, Kes Taylor. Kes is the CEO of ALEC, and over the last 2 decades, ALEC is very well known for delivering mega projects that we as visitors to Dubai often just experience. If you think about Dubai airports, some of the major buildings in the UAE, and also, more importantly, Expo, that's all done by ALEC. We were fortunate to sit down with Kes, and he gave us his insights in terms of how he's reflecting about Expo, the stories that we need to tell at Expo, and more importantly, how do we amplify the uniqueness of South Africa when we really host the world at Expo in a few weeks' time. Unbelievable reflections at a personal level. I just think Kes is one of those leaders that if you think about Expo, you understand that ALEC has really put their own fingerprint on some of the experiences that you will get when you come to Expo. So great time with Kes, and really one that accentuates what we need to do as leaders in the UAE. Enjoy.
Our journey is evolving. Each day, we take another step forward on our shared path. We are all connected, and we all collaborate. In some ways that are obvious, and many which aren't. With your support and commitment, we look forward to a brighter future. And we are excited to announce that Expo 2020 Dubai will now open its gates from October 1st, 2021 until March 31st, 2022. For the world to come together and celebrate human brilliance and achievement like never before. We are one.
Hello, Kes Taylor. Thank you for making the time and joining us today as we talk about Expo.
Yeah, how's it, Paul? Good to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, I mean, today is all about Expo. We are about 9 weeks out for this amazing event in the UAE. And we really wanted to spend some time with you to get your personal views on what Expo means for you, how you see the whole narrative of Expo. And more importantly, just also get your sense of the type of value you think it's going to create, not only for the businesses in the UAE, but really because of it's a global event that really brings a social fabric together. But let's start with just what it means for you and what you have seen and how do you see it playing out?
We are very fortunate that we've been part of the Expo now for quite a few number of years. We've been involved in 22 of the projects there, and we've been one of the significant contributors towards bringing this event to life. Involved in bringing it to life, I mean, we've got an insight into what people are going to experience when they come to it. And it is honestly going to blow people away on a level that I don't think people are anticipating. On multiple levels, you know, whether it be architecture, events, experiences, thought-provoking issues that all of us need to address. And, you know, I think the whole thing of the Expo is it's an event that are going to bring people from all over the world together, whereby we can basically connect and then share ideas, get people going, and hopefully collectively create a better future for everyone.
100%. And I think also you mentioned the experience. Now, we are based in the UAE, so we fairly, you know, known for the unbelievable landscape of the UAE. And we know your business has been critical in shaping that landscape as well. But I think the one good point that you raised there is just as individuals. I think walking into the Expo and seeing the unbelievable architecture and, you know, more importantly, what those architectures manifest in terms of the ideas that are coming together. So ultimately, it's going to be about people and bringing those people together. So I would be interested to get your thoughts around how you think South Africa and the ideas that we have, the stories that we have, how do you see those being amplified at Expo?
Look, I think I mean, so we're all part of the South African Business Council. We're part of, let's call it the international South African community that are operating and working out of South Africa, but all of us have a very strong tie to our country. And I think what we all realize is that South Africans have immense talent in many ways, and a lot of things that come very natural to us don't necessarily come natural to a lot of other people. So we have some really good qualities, and I think for South Africans, we're creative. I think we've got very much a can-do attitude and approach. We've got an ability to work with various types of people from all over the world. And I think we're very much connected to our environment, which maybe a lot of other countries aren't as much connected. So as South Africans, I mean, it's just a couple of things, but as South Africans that are working and operating and contributing in a significant manner to the development of the UAE, and in this case in particular at the Expo, South Africans have played a major role, whether it be on the design side or on the execution side. And I think a lot of those qualities that we have as a nation have really come to the fore here in terms of playing a big role on a lot of exceptionally difficult projects. I mean, these projects are not cookie cutter. They are, I mean, some of the best architects in the world have been involved, and turning that vision, that architectural vision, into a reality and getting it to work and function is actually pretty difficult there, because a lot of the architecture and the experiences that people are going to have inside these pavilions, to turn those into reality takes a real skill, because you've got to be on the same wavelength as the designer, and you've got to be in the same headspace as to where they're heading, so that together you're trying to take this exceptionally difficult creative vision of the messaging and the theming and the points that they're trying to get across. We've got to turn that into a reality, and that's what we've been doing on a lot of our pavilions that we've been working on, out of those 22 that we've been working on.
Yeah, and I mean, part of that is that there's these multiple themes, and the whole message around mobility, innovation, all these carry significant leadership and thought leadership narratives. So how do you read as ALEC and specifically as a CEO, how do you read the requirement and the demand on people like the South African Business Council and the people at Expo? How do you see us linking that fabric? Do you think it's partly going to be about making sure that those sessions at Expo happen as they should? How do you see those theme weeks playing in? Or those? Do you think those things are big success factors?
Yeah, I think what and we've spoken about it a few times. We've got to go and we've got to figure out what are the critical things that all of us as humanity that live on this planet, what are the key issues that we actually need to address? And if we look at our environment, I mean, we are very much out of sync with our environment, and the decisions that get made moving into the future, the decisions that have been made over the last 50 to 100 years have had and even before that, have had a very negative impact on our environment. So I think the critical issues that we've got, hopefully what we're going to do through the South African Business Council is we're going to create a platform and an environment for the biggest issues that face us to get tackled, and to get the best minds and people to contribute. And hopefully what people are going to do is we're all going to come together, we're all going to contribute, and we're going to create a better future for everyone.
Yeah, and I think it really is underpinned by leadership. So you need strong leadership, not only from the UAE point of view when it comes to the political landscape and also the business landscape. I mean, those two are critical, especially when it comes to the public and private type of partnerships. But you also need corporate South Africa. You need really to have these big businesses and the people they represent to really bring the ideas and bring that thought leadership to the Expo. So in your mind, how do you see some of those corporates, yourselves, but also, again, the South African element? How critical do you think those are when it comes to the duration of Expo? Because the Expo is a limited time. So we need to be really critical around how we amplify those stories. Do you think that timing is going to be a big thing for corporate South Africa?
Look, I think what we got 6 months in which to get together. And it doesn't mean you physically got to get together here. What we're really looking for is that we're going to pick the topics, we're going to get the right organizations and the right individuals involved. And what we want to do is we want to encourage everybody to take part, whether you're a junior school kid or whether you're in high school or whether you're a graduate or whether you're a business person or an entrepreneur or you're a venture capitalist or whatever you are. What we want to do, or an environmentalist, what we want to do is we want to bring all people together. And through the South African Business Council, what we want to do is we want to tackle the big issues. And I think if we do that effectively, but what it's going to need is we're going to need a good agenda. We're going to need to pick the topics correctly. And what we want to do is encourage people to connect. Okay, and if we get people connecting, whether it be physically or virtually, we get people to connect and we tackle these issues in the right kind of manner. I think what we're going to figure out is we're going to find solutions to some of these issues, and hopefully what it'll lead to is a better future.
I think the key takeaway for me there is the nuances around being able to connect the people. Like you say, that is a critical success factor. But then also part of that is how we build that trust through value creation. And Expo again provides that platform, but it's all up to us to really as the playing parts to be that accelerator of making sure that we can formulate that value paradigm. So maybe just in conclusion, Kes, how do you summarize what's needed in the next, call it 7 weeks before Expo? Again, I think for your business, you guys have been so involved in Expo and you've been such a big contributor to, like you mentioned, the architecture and the success of it. But how do you read the next 7 weeks as we prepare for Go launch date?
Look, I think it's going to be an amazing event. I don't think there's ever been an event that's been held like this anywhere in the world before. It is going to be unique. And I think what we've got to do over the next 7 weeks is hopefully what we're going to do is we're going to open people's minds to connecting with the Expo. And if we do that successfully, so let's say we get people excited, we get really good topics, and we get engagement. And through that engagement, let's say we come up with some really great solutions and figure out the future collectively together. If we do that, we've got to create this excitement and vibe. So in this part of the world, I mean, where we've been intimately involved with the Expo, we've got an insight as to what is coming. For people that aren't living here and are living in other parts of the world, they're very disconnected from it. So hopefully what we can do is let's get people engaged and excited and encourage people to participate. And if we get that right over the next 7 weeks, I think then what we're going to be in for is over that 6-month period, it's going to be an amazing event for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, where you come from, what you do. We're going to connect people together and we're going to get thought-provoking issues tabled, and I think it's going to be exciting. So I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully everyone else is going to participate.
So Kes, just in conclusion, we know it takes a lot of partnerships to make this happen. And obviously there's multiple role players, not only from a private sector perspective, but also when we look at the key side of government. So, I mean, on that note, a big thank you to your business as ALEC, but also your leadership. So on that point, thank you so much for the partnership, and we're looking forward to the continued support as we actually deliver all these activities and all the value components for Expo. So just a big thank you from our side.
Yeah, thank you, Paul, and well done to the South African Business Council, to MultiChoice, and to the South African Council and everybody that's been involved. What we really want the South African Pavilion to be is to be active, vibrant, thought-provoking, and that's really a hell of a lot of interesting things come out of it. And as South Africans, I think we can do that. I really believe it.
100%. Thank you so much, Kes.
Paul. Thanks, sir.